a reminder, can everyone please remain standing as the procession continues? Once again, please remain standing as we welcome faculty and members of the Yale-NUS Governing Board and senior leadership. We would now like to invite Yale-NUS Governing Board member, Professor Tan-Chor Chuan, to mark the official opening of the ceremony by inviting all guests to be seated. Please be seated. Distinguished guests, staff, faculty, students, families, and all others present, welcome to Yale-NUS College's First Year Assembly 2017. May we now invite Ms. Laura Severin, Director of Admissions and Financial Aid, to give the welcome address. Ms. Severin.
Good afternoon. Members of the Yale-NUS Governing Board, Professor Tan Chor Chuan, Ms. Chung Tiap Cheng, President of Yale-NUS College, Professor Tan Tai Young, Yale-NUS colleagues, students, and friends. On behalf of the admissions team and the entire college community, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you, the class of 2021, to Yale-NUS College. As you have no doubt discovered over the course of the past few days in orientation, you bring immense diversity to the class, or to Yale-NUS College. Just as the four classes who came before you, you continue to contribute to one of the greatest attributes of Yale-NUS College, bringing together students from across the globe who yearn for modern-day, globally focused liberal arts education. You are daring enough to break from the norm and to contribute to the growth and tradition of Yale-NUS in our early years. You represent 45 nationalities and graduated from 143 schools in 50 different countries. You bring rich experiences in the arts, community service, athletics, and more. You have excelled in the classroom and displayed leadership and initiative within your communities. And in case you didn't notice, admission to Yale-NUS is no easy feat. You are amongst 8,773 students who applied to Yale-NUS this year. We remain one of the most selective institutions in the world. And what truly sets us apart is our holistic admission process. We asked you to tell us about your experiences and your challenges. We asked you to write long essay responses, and we asked you to follow those up with short essay responses. We asked you to contact your teachers and to write letters of recommendations on your behalf. And after all of that, we invited you to come and interview with us. I'm sure just hearing that word interview makes some of your hands sweat all over again, right? The depth of our admission process is designed to ensure that each of you shares the desire and motivation for the journey you are embarking upon. That does not mean that each of you shares the same opinions or ideologies. In fact, we hope that you don't. After all, we learn the most from those who make us think about things differently, who share different opinions and perspectives. This means that some conversations, some days, and even some courses are going to be more difficult for you than others. However, you should be assured that the care that goes into our admission process ensures that each and every one of you has the skills and the experiences to bring unique talents and perspectives to the classrooms here at Yale-NUS. You each hold a responsibility to one another, and also to those who don't share the luxury of the opportunity you have been afforded. You are amongst the few in the world who have access to an education like Yale-NUS. You will quickly discover that you cannot do everything you want to at Yale-NUS. There are more things happening on this campus than there are hours in a day. You should do as much as you can, though. Take advantage of this opportunity. You have each worked incredibly hard to find yourselves in the seat that you're in today. You've studied late into the night. You've crammed for a tough exam. You've gone for practice, an extra practice just before that championship game. But remember that this is the start of a new journey. As much as the admissions team was impressed with the achievements that you presented in your applications, ultimately, we were assessing your ability for growth at Yale-NUS. You have all achieved great things in your polytechnics, your junior colleges, and your high schools. You are known for your visibility in your school community, your leadership, and your academic excellence. However, today you are each starting with a clean slate. Your previous achievements helped to get you where you are today, but they do not define who you are at Yale-NUS. You have not been admitted to Yale-NUS because of the club you started 4 years ago, but because of the potential you have to contribute to the campus community here on this campus. You have not been admitted to Yale-NUS because of the grades you achieved in high school, but because of the potential for innovative academic work you will achieve alongside our faculty. You have not been admitted to Yale-NUS because of the community member you once were, but because of the compassion we believe you will display as a sweet mate in our residential community. We have no doubt in the success each of you will reach at Yale-NUS. Remember that success will be defined in different ways for each of you. Just as each of you took a different path to reach where you are today, the path that you'll take moving forward will look different for each and every one of you. But know that we'll be here alongside of you to go down that road together. We are incredibly thankful that you've each chosen to be here with us. We're excited to see what the future holds for you. I want to again offer my congratulations to you and welcome you to Yale-NUS College. It is now my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, the president of Yale-NUS College, Tan-Tai Young.
You guys look really good today. Professor Tan Cho Chuan, Ms. Chong Seok Chin, members of the Yale-NUS Governing Board, students, families, fellow Yale-NUS colleagues. 6 years ago, a bold decision was taken to establish a liberal arts and sciences college in Singapore. It was never going to be a straightforward task, for it entailed in many ways taking the road less traveled. 6 years on, Yale-NUS College, the outcome of that bold decision, has taken root and is thriving. We marked a couple of milestones this year. In late May, the college held its first graduation ceremony for the class of 2017, our inaugural batch of students who, with the support of their families, took that leap of faith by enrolling with us. A few weeks later, we bade farewell to Professor Pericles Lewis, my predecessor and esteemed colleague who, along with the Yale-NUS community, took on the challenge of steering the college from its inception to where it is today. I stand before you as the new president of the college to welcome all of you. As we look back with pride on how far the college has come in 6 years, we are also excited about the future, and we are about to begin a journey together, and you can be assured that I am as excited and as anxious as you are. All of you have chosen to be part of Yale-NUS College because you are attracted to and excited by the promise of a liberal arts and sciences education. Singapore may at first seem an unlikely place for liberal education to make inroads, let alone thrive. In a country which has traditionally adopted a utilitarian approach to higher education, and where many more students graduate with first degrees in engineering sciences than in the humanities and social sciences, and education other than professional or technical can seem like an impediment. Yet, here you are, class of 2021. Your presence today speaks of your desire for an education that emphasizes humane learning and a form of independent thinking that would satiate your curious minds. You have not come here looking to be trained for a particular job. Your purpose, and ours too, is to cultivate a bent of mind that will allow you to develop mental dexterity and flexibility, giving you the capacity to adapt to and improvise in changing circumstances. Many of the problems we face today are so deep and complex as to sometimes seem intractable, and their sources profound. Globalization and technological changes have brought people closer, and it has driven people apart. Politics and societies have grown increasingly partisan and parochial. There is a surfeit of news and information, but trustworthy sources and balanced viewpoints appear to be shrinking. That is why we need liberal education more than ever. Harvard President Drew Faust once said, when explaining the importance of a liberal education, and I quote, "Where there is no rule book, turn to philosophy, turn to history, through anthropology, poetry, and literature. Take the wisdom of the great thinkers and leaders before you, and then create your own." Herein lies the crux of what we are attempting to do in a college like this, to develop in you the ability to grasp complexity, to cut through the fog and single out issues that really matter, and then be creative in finding solutions to problems you're trying to solve. The next few years will be a formative chapter in your life. You will have 4 years of freedom to discover yourself. The college will help you cultivate your intellectual potential, build on the strong foundations that we have identified in all of you. You will be encouraged to question, to think for yourself, to see issues from different perspectives, to arrive at your own conclusions. Your views will take shape and they will be tested, as they should be, in the cut and thrust of seminar debates, over the course of reading and studying, and during conversations with your lecturers, your peers, and friends. You will engage with the works of great writers and experience the power of ideas to affect, transform, and enlighten. I'm aware most of you are by now tired of the kind of rhetoric employed in speeches to do with education. Words like creativity, independent, and critical thinking have become stock phrases used liberally and sometimes mindlessly. But let's just try to take it at face value. What does independent and critical thinking actually entail? It requires the courage and willingness to rethink previously held views, to acknowledge that there are other views worthy of consideration even if they are fundamentally different to yours, to value evidence over conventional wisdom and groupthink, to push for a different, sometimes unusual way of understanding a situation or problem, to resist the urge to say and do what everyone else does, especially in the febrile atmosphere of heated debates. Independent and critical thinking has to be honed over time. It requires you to develop the habit of careful deliberation, the powers of concentration to avoid being distracted by noise and confusion, and very importantly, the ability to empathize, to put yourself in the shoes of others before you pass judgment on them. If cultivated well, you will develop a robustness of mind, tempered by a spirit of humility and compassion. These qualities will help guide your actions and all aspects of your life. Shortly before their graduation, some students from the class of 2017 convened a forum discussion on what lies ahead after university. The event blurb started by saying, and I quote, "The specter of life after Yale-NUS looms for the very first time. Increasingly, seniors have been questioning their values, motives, and pragmatism as they begin to consider their postgraduate plans. Is working for a bank a waste of a liberal arts education? Does dismissing the private sector come from a place of privilege? Would a senior class primarily employed by financial institutions burnish our image as employable, capable workers, or tarnish our commitment to intellectualism and public service?" Unquote. To my mind, this is quite reflective of the college ethos. Our students care about issues. They are passionate about their devotion to a cause and are constantly seeking to understand their roles in a larger context. To those who may be tempted to dismiss such attempts as navel-gazing and naive idealism, let me assure you that our graduates have gone on to secure jobs in the arts, in the NGOs, in the fields of management, consultancy, and in finance, among others. Many of them have also gone to prestigious universities to pursue postgraduate studies. In their own ways, each of them will bring new perspectives to their chosen vocation. In 4 years' time, it will be your turn to leave us and to venture forth. If you make the best of what a liberal arts education has to offer, it will sustain you as you make your way through life. Along the way, career advancement and financial circumstances will prove diverting. But then there may come a point where you realize it is not enough. What then can you fall back on? Let me end with a quote from one of your seniors. "Never take the resources we have for granted. We are so insanely privileged. Giving back to the community at Yale-NUS and outside of school is the most energizing and fulfilling thing I can recommend as a senior. You are now part of our community of learning. While I urge you to take advantage of the many opportunities that will be open to you, I also ask that you do not forget to give as you receive and to play your part in sustaining the purpose, health, and vitality of our community. Once again, welcome class of 2021. May your journey at Yale-NUS be a fulfilling one." Now let me invite the President of the Yale-NUS Student Government, Saza Faradilla, to address you.
Good afternoon, members of Yale-NUS Governing Board, Professor Tan Chaw Chuan, Ms. Chong Siak Ching, President of Yale-NUS College, Professor Tan Tai Yong, distinguished guests, faculty and staff, parents, and the class of 2021. I hope you had a wonderful orientation and congratulations on taking your first steps into college. I was on the RCX trip to Kuching with Chandana College. It was tiring, but it was so fun and eye-opening. It was definitely out of my own comfort zone to learn about conservation within the tree nature reserves we were at. But I am glad I kept an open mind, and I am proud of many of you first years who did as well. You gained so much as you did the writing prompts and explored the intersectional relationships between the people of the forest itself, and profit-making deforestation industries. I hope this knowledge-seeking attitude and open-mindedness continues throughout your 4 years here at Yale-NUS. Many of you will try out new sports, new clubs, and even form some of your own. You will take courses in things you didn't think were important or issues you didn't know you would care about. It is important to keep an open mind. You will hear ideas which you might not personally agree with, and they might challenge the core of your beliefs. You will meet people who are very different from yourself, who've had life experiences that you have never even heard of, or it might boggle you how anyone could live in certain ways. But remember, always keep an open mind. This ties in the next part of my speech, which is to be kind. Be kind to the people around you. Be kind to the staff and faculty. Oops. Give me a second. Okay. Many of them have uprooted their families to take the leap of faith to join this new college. They also face the same problems of culture shock, assimilation, and homesickness as you. So remember to see them as people with feelings, thoughts, and perspectives. But that's not to say that you cannot disagree with policies or certain ways that things are done, but disagree in a kind manner. The administrators are also coming from a place of best intentions. They want to make the student experience amazing, but sometimes intentions do get lost in translation. So talk to them, email them, drop by their offices. They have promised not to bite. Another way that you can be engaged on campus is through the student government. You've seen the call for nominations, so nominate your friends whom you respect and think will do a good job at representing you. For the people who have been nominated, I urge you to accept your nominations. You have been selected by your peers who truly believe in your ability to be a leader in our community. So grab the opportunity and try it out. The student government at Yale-NUS is unique in that we act not only as a liaison between the many officers on campus and students, but we also actively advocate for student interests. Because of the visibility and legitimacy of the student government, it has increased its ability to make a difference in policies in school, more than what any one individual can do alone. Gender-neutral housing, changes to events policies, dialogue sessions between governing board members and students. These have all been facilitated by and led by the student government. If you wish to leave your mark at Yale-NUS, student government is one of the best places to begin. Next, remember to be kind to your peers. There's this quote I love quotes, and it reads, everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. So be kind, always. And that is absolutely true. A potential pitfall of the residential college system, I feel, might be that we see people in a vacuum as who they are right now. But that cannot possibly be. The way that a person presents themselves at Yale-NUS is only one of their identities. We must not forget the past experiences, family circumstances, academic and language backgrounds that a person arrives from. We must consider all these when speaking, interacting, or arguing with a fellow student. Often, And unfortunately, at Yale-NUS, a lot of debates take place online. Technology is wonderful for bringing people closer together and making information so much more accessible. But having debates online where we don't see the human being we are talking to, the person with real feelings that we are shutting down, this might cause us to misinterpret intentions. Nothing good will come out of these discussions, and so I urge you to take your disagreements offline, face the person you're speaking to, and make it a dialogue where both of you not only hear, but listen to one another. And go in with the intention to understand, empathize, and not to criticize. Finally, and I believe most importantly, is to be kind to yourself. College is overwhelming. For many of you, this will be your first time living apart from your family, or moving out of your hometown, or even speaking a language that isn't your mother tongue. These are difficult transitions, and when you add the challenge of academics, social life, and navigating Singapore, it seems to be a tall order. But one of the things that make Yale-NUS so great is the support structures we have. Seek out your suite mates, your RCAs, Dean's Fellows, Vice Rectors, Rectors, go to the Wellness Center and the student organization, PS We Care. It is not a sign of weakness, but it is of strength that you recognize your vulnerabilities and brave enough to step up and seek help. From my own personal experience, it can be difficult to undo the stigma on mental health, but we are not here to judge, and we are only here to support you, so reach out if you are not feeling your best. Remember, self-care is a priority, not a luxury. On behalf of the upper class students, I welcome you today to the Yale-NUS community. We are all excited to have you here and to see how the largest class yet will build our community. Be curious and keep an open mind. Spread kindness to everyone you know, and our community will only blossom and flourish. It is now my pleasure to welcome the Yale-NUS Barbershop Chorus on stage. Thank you.
Good afternoon, members of the Yale-NUS Governing Board, Professor Tan Chor Chuan, Ms. Chong Siak Ching, President of Yale-NUS College, Professor Tan Tai Yong, members of faculty, staff, parents, students, and friends. We are the Yale-NUS Barbershop Chorus. We started singing together as a group just under a year ago, and actually we've only just recently reunited because half of our membership was on study abroad last semester. But we're back now. And today we'll be bringing you two songs, For the Longest Time and Side by Side. We hope you enjoy.
Dum dum dum. Whoa, for the longest time. Whoa, for the longest. If you said goodbye to me tonight, there would still be music left to write. What else could I do? I'm so inspired by you. I haven't been there for the longest time. Once I thought my innocence was gone. Now I know that happiness goes on. That's where you found me, when you put your arms around me. I haven't been there for the longest time. Maybe this won't last very long, but you feel so right, and I could be wrong. Maybe I've been hoping too hard, but I've come this far, and it's more than I hoped for. Who knows how much further we'll go on? Maybe I'll be sorry when you're gone. I'll I'll take my chances. I forgot how nice romances. I haven't been there for the longest time. Whoa, 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 for the longest time. Oh, we ain't got a barrel of money. Maybe we're ragged and funny, but we'll travel along, singing a song, side by side. We don't know what's coming tomorrow. Maybe it's trouble and sorrow, but we'll travel the road, sharing our load, side by side, through all kinds of weather. What if the sky should fall? Just as long as we can get together, it doesn't matter at all. We hope you like our singing, but now we gotta get swinging. We'll travel along, singing a song, side by side by side.
And now we would like to invite on stage Associate Professor of Humanities Andrew Bailey, the faculty speaker nominated by students. Professor Bailey, please.
Governing Board, Yale-NUS colleagues, friends, students. We recently bid farewell to our first graduating class, a bittersweet day. And today we welcome our fifth, sweet, sweet day. So, welcome. We're really glad you're here. I can't say for sure what life at the college is going to be like for you. I can, however, share a few observations born out of my own experience over these last few years. Perhaps they'll be useful as you find your own way. The community we grow here is a little close and a little strange. We know weird things about each other. Just a few examples. I can sometimes tell who's been in a lift just by the cologne that lingers. And soon enough, you'll know who's behind a door before you open it because you'll recognize their shoes sitting there outside. And when a hand phone goes off during lecture, you'll know whose it is because you recognize the ringtone. So yes, living in a community this close is a little weird, a little tight. It's wonderful too, and it can feel like home. For me, that's morning coffee in Saga Dining Hall with a soft-boiled egg, sharing a silent salute with the rest of the early rising crew. We're not really much for chit-chat. Or hanging out in the buttery and enjoying music or hearing music or food that the students have prepared. Late night karaoke, which in the best of times is always ended with a rousing performance of some 90s Tagalog pop hit. Or cheering on athletes just a little too loudly. But for me, that's home. You'll find your own way, and I'm actually curious to see what home will be like for you. And soon enough, we'll find out. All to the good. But here's a warning. Close community like this has its downsides. Living together, knowing each other, building a home together. This makes us vulnerable. You will hurt and even harm each other. You will. On occasions like this, sometimes you'll be ordered to look to the left and to look to the right, and there you will see a future life partner or a friend for many years to come. But I say, if you look to the left and look to the right, you'll see someone that you will hurt and someone who will hurt you too. That's the price of intimacy. Unsolicited advice is risky for the person who gives it and for the person who receives. But I'm going to share just a little. When you get hurt, you may be tempted to withdraw, to grow just a little colder, to turn your back. That's natural, and sometimes that's the right thing to do. But in general, I've learned that an open heart is better still. The poet of Liverpool put it this way: "For well you know it's a fool who plays it cool by making his world a little colder." To close your heart, to play it cool, is to make the world a colder and worse place. It's to reject the closeness and vulnerability that make community possible. So my experience is that intimacy comes at a price, but that it is worth that price. I hope you'll give it a shot, and perhaps in 4 years' time, come to agree with me. This is college, so a word about academics. You will encounter texts and ideas and problems that are mind-stretching, difficult, seemingly pointless, or just plain impossible. It will feel like your professors are conspiring to keep you from the sleep you need. They are. You think I'm kidding? They are. We hope that you will be confounded and stretched by your studies. We want these academic problems to throw you for a loop, to frustrate you, even to the edge of insomnia. So remember that when you read the Rejouissance, or when you figure out how to do a regression in R for the first time. But we, your professors, the faculty, we're here for you. Remember that too. It's our duty, our delight, to coach you through the rough spots, to cheer when you find your aha moments, and when things start getting a little too easy, to challenge you to climb a little higher still. Welcome to Yale-NUS. Thank you. I now hand the podium over to Dean of Students, Christopher Bridges, for his closing remarks.
Members of the Yale-NUS Governing Board, Professor Tan Chor-Chuan, Ms. Chong Siak-Ching, President of Yale-NUS College, Professor Tan Tai-Young, colleagues, students, and friends. Let me begin by saying congratulations, class of 2021, you've survived orientation. And you're now ready to jump into the heart of the matter, your academic journey. You are fortunate to be studying with the faculty that are here gathered with us today. I spoke with one member of that faculty yesterday who told me that they are ready for you, excited to see you in class, and looking forward to challenging you. Over the last 2 weeks, we've encouraged you to think about who you are, where you are, who we are as a community, and why you are here. You'll continue to seek answers to these questions over the next semester, the next year, your academic career, and likely your life. So at the very least, we gave you some good questions. During orientation, you started the process of understanding and discussing and defining the liberal arts and living in a community. And within that idea, or those ideas, you will find a lack of clarity. You'll find a lot of gray space, you'll find tension, and a distinct lack of direct answers. So we could all do this a different way. We could all do this an easier way. But we've all chosen to walk this path together. And a path that lacks clear and total definition is by its nature a harder path to walk. So if it's harder, that's good because it means it builds character. I'm a dad, I basically have to say that. But I'm also an educator, and I say it because I believe it. Challenge promotes growth, and sometimes heartache. So in that challenge and in that growth, remember that this is your journey. But as you go on it, I and everyone in this room are here to walk with you. And I look forward to sharing your good company on the way. I hope that at the end you find success, and that for your time spent here, you're a better child, perhaps one day a better parent, a better neighbor, and a better citizen. I hope that you'll be of service. But those are my hopes. So along the way, I'll keep asking you while you're here, what are your goals? How do you define success? How do you earn the right to keep your head up? I look forward to your answers. So in conclusion for today, I want you to remember that your personal historical data suggests that you're going to be just fine. I want you to remember to take those breaths. I want you to remember that you're often basically okay, and that you have plenty of time. Be patient with each other. Remember why you're here. Figure out why you're here. And remember to enjoy it and have fun. So for the last time, I want to welcome you to Yale-NUS College. Take flight, Kingfishers.
Thank you all for coming to the First Year Assembly 2017. We hope that you have enjoyed the ceremony this afternoon. After the ceremonial procession takes its leave, we would like to invite everyone to a tea reception that's been set up outside the multipurpose hall. Family members and guests, our ushers will guide you to the reception area. Class of 2021, please stay behind for your class photo before proceeding to the reception. Thank you all and have a great afternoon. Distinguished guests, staff, faculty, students, and all present, please rise and remain standing as the ceremonial procession takes its leave. Thank you, everyone. Please feel free to pop the balloons, to proceed to the tea reception that is outside. And class of 2021, please remain behind for your class photo.